You are listening to the Interview Podcast,
where we interview the real you.
We discover our guests' passions, skills, dreams, and wisdom they've learned along the way.
Get ready for some friendly banter,
Controversial hot takes.
Christian pickup lines, and riveting conversations.
Let's dive in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome in to episode 13 of the Interview Podcast. Guys, we are really excited to be back and at it, and we have kind of a different episode for you today. Generally, we have someone that we interview, hence the name Interview Podcast. But today, we're switching it up, and we have myself as one of your hosts, as well as
Derek Miller, of course.
My co-host. And it's just him and I today. And we have a couple different things that we want to share with you guys and talk about, and figured we'd just do an episode of him and I. We haven't done this since the very first episode. The intro episode. 7
months ago or so.
Way back in the day. So it won't be a habit, so don't freak out if you're like,
oh,
Derek
crap.
And Jenn,
the Interview
boring.
Podcast, forget it.
So hope we don't lose a lot of followers after this episode. It won't be a habit, but it is kind of fun to switch it up and also give us a chance to share a little bit too about some experiences in our lives and some updates on the podcast as well. So before we get started with the episode, I'm going to throw it over to Derek to give a few shout outs.
Yes, we have some repeat sponsors, some people that sponsored more than one episode. So huge thank you to you guys, just generous pockets. We really appreciate it. These are good friends of ours. So John and Sydney Holbert and their kids, Holden, Lillian, and Weston. Thank you guys again. Really appreciate you. Always a pleasure hanging out with you and just who you are as a family. Of course, John owns a grading and land clearing company, so you know who to call if you got your land ready and build the dream house. Call John. So,
yeah, absolutely,
for sure.
Thank you.
Then we
guys.
have James and Allie Puffer. They are from the Cleveland, North Carolina area. Their kids Mason, Allison, and Jansen. Thank you guys. Love you much. Appreciate you. Keep being awesome. Thank you guys for making this possible. This is literally such a blessing to have sponsors, and because there is cost involved with what we do, so we would gladly foot the cost. But this actually makes it a lot nicer, and we get to talk about you and show your glowing personalities and character traits. So
we love giving good reviews.
We do. So speaking of episode sponsors, Jen, talk to our sponsors. Just give them a thank you. And what is that going to look like for this next year?
Yes, for sure. As Derek said, we have had up to this point for our episodes, we've had sponsors. You usually hear us at the beginning of each episode shouting them out, giving them a thank you. And I think we spoke at the beginning maybe of the whole podcast about sponsorship, but we haven't talked about it much since then. And so, huge thank you so far to all of our sponsors that we have had. And the reason we have them, for y'all that don't know, we do rent a studio space, which is a super nice space at the Gospel Express office called Express Studios. And we have access to the space, the equipment, the engineer, and all of that. And so there is cost involved with that. And as Derek said, we're going to go for it no matter what, whether we're footing the bill or not.
We're going broke on the podcast.
We might have to start recording from home with our phones, but for now, everything's been good so far. So with that, we just wanted to give opportunity. There's no obligation, obviously, at all. But if anybody does have interest and you enjoy the Interview Podcast, you enjoy listening, and you want to be a part of it in some way, we do have the opportunity to sponsor an episode. And what that looks like is the cost is around $85 for an episode. So if you personally, or you have a business or something that you run that you would like to promote or have us give a shout out to, we would love to do that. You would sponsor that with the $85, and then we would designate a specific episode to you as that sponsor. So that's what a whole episode sponsorship would look like. And again, it's just an opportunity if anyone has interest in that, just kind of helps us keep this thing rolling.
Keep the old train chugging.
Yeah, because we love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
For sure.
But obviously, it does cost. And so looking forward to into the future, we're kind of trying to plan for that cost. So again, thanks so much to all of our sponsors we've had so far. And if you guys have any interest in that, you can reach out to us. We have an Instagram page called The Interview Podcast, as well as we each have personal Facebook pages that you can reach out through Messenger to either Derek Miller or myself, Jennifer Most, and reach us that way. So just wanted to throw that opportunity out there for you guys. And Derek, did I cover everything?
I think so.
With that.
The only other thing I was thinking with that, if you have if you're the kind of guy that doesn't want your name mentioned or something, and you want to do it for a friend, if you want to embarrass a friend, or you just have that friend that deserves a shout out, you can sponsor an episode and have us shout them out, and without them even knowing it, and it's like a surprise.
Hey, that's a good point.
There is so many options.
Pay for someone else's sponsorship.
Yeah, there you go. Even
Derek, you should pay for me and then shout me out.
Well, but what if? Oh yeah, you're right. I should.
That's the worst idea I've had.
No, that's good.
It's like we're paying for ourselves.
Well, yeah, that'd be a little.
But that is a neat idea. In case, if you wanted to say, hey, shout this person out,
Absolutely.
I'll sponsor them to sponsor the episode.
Correct. And we could tell a story about them. We could do all kinds of cool stuff. So, that just came to my head. So, anyway.
But we really appreciate you guys and the people that have shown so much support because we do want to keep bringing good content and keep interviewing people and highlighting their lives and learning from them.
Yes.
We think that I've experienced a ton of value myself just from doing it, and I believe Derek has as well, and hopefully you guys have too. So anyway, so with that then, Derek has another option and thing that we're starting with sponsorships.
Yes, we are actually starting a Patreon. So if you're not familiar with that, it is a subscription thing that people can do if you're a podcaster, if you're a YouTuber, whatever. Basically what it is you can support that on a monthly basis. So our vision with this is to hopefully expand. We like to bring some guests from, out of state possibly. We like to do interviews live. So we're looking to expand our reach a little bit to different people, to possibly out-of-staters or something. So, and if we're going to do it live, we'd like to bring them in. And so with the possibility of getting more content from more people from different backgrounds, this is what this Patreon would support. And so, even flying them in, having them on as guests, obviously that feels really big time to us, but we're like, hey, go big or go home.
Yeah.
Right.
That's Derek. If you guys want to know the difference between Derek and I, we're a good team because he's the bigger dreamer and thinker. He's like, oh, let's go for these numbers of this. And I'm like,
I'm like private jet.
Okay, let's go back to, moped, And so
Jen's very practical.
Hopefully we balance each other out. Correct. But anyway, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, we had a long discussion about this before, which was good because we need the balance. So anyway, guys, what we're going to be doing for $3, if you'd like to support us at $3 a month, that would help cover basically any additional costs we have, all that stuff. It would be amazing. That's what we're going to start doing. If you would like to support, you find value in this. We're also on YouTube now. We're recording these to put these that you can actually see us. I know we're not that great looking, but
and honestly, if you don't want to see us, just don't go there.
Don't go there, please. We understand.
But it is an option, at least. Some people enjoy the visual and feel like you are more a part of it if you can see what's happening.
Correct. A little more immersive if you're into that. So we're going to be doing that. We have a few episodes up with that on it on our Interview Podcast YouTube page. You can look that up. But we will be doing that going forward, hopefully providing more value there for those of you that are into that. So that's what it is. So the link for that will be in the show notes here and also on our Instagram link bio. It'll be in there to give. If we would get, Derek, what's the goal?
I'm
a big shooter.
What's the goal for our first little step here with the group that we want to have for this Patreon?
Correct. Even 250 people that would do this would be, that would be that would blow our minds. It really would. And I believe you guys will probably do it. But for me, I'm just like, man, that's the fact that people would find enough value to support us like that would be unbelievable. Yeah. So of course, this will come your way, regardless if you pay for it or not. We're having fun. We're going to do this regardless. So
absolutely.
But if you want to do that, it'll be in the link and then also on Instagram and everything. And so that's the plan. Yeah. And we're going to call that the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
We literally came up with that in I think it was you that said it or somebody, Jen. So
yeah, the inner circle of the interview,
which there's so much inner there. Yeah,
and you guys already the way that you support and listen and even reach out, commenting on things and showing support,
sending messages,
verbally and encouragement. That means a ton, and we want to keep doing this. And so it's just more of there's no obligation at all or pressure. But if you if what do they say? If God lays it on your heart?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's more for ministry things. But if you feel like you want to be a part of it in more ways and help us in the financial side of things, then that is an opportunity for you. If you don't want to sponsor a full episode, but you want to still get involved, that gives you a different option at that $3 per month.
Yeah.
And details for that, we'll post about that on our Instagram page. Try to keep you up to date with that Patreon page, as well as putting it in the show notes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
That sounds good, Derek. Okay. And we're excited. We're planning to go for this is our second episode of 2023, and so we don't really have a plan. We have our planning to keep going.
Yes.
And seeing if we can, and we want to make it better for you guys too. And
what people want to hear.
Yeah. And so that's kind of our goal is we want to do this for you guys, and so we'll see if we can keep it going for another year.
That's right.
Okay, so Derek, what are we going to get into on this episode? This is different.
It is.
Usually it's easy to divert to whoever our guest is and really like focus on that. So I guess you can kind of be the guest and I can be the guest. And so you just recently, for people that didn't know, Derek went on a trip to Africa, as well as to London after that. But do you want to share a few things with our guests? I'm really good at this. With our audience, just about Africa and some of your experiences there, and maybe a little bit of an overview of why you went, what the purpose of the trip was.
Sure. So our founder, Nelson Koblenz, has been very involved with international ministry, and so it had always been a dream of our family to go over with him. I was there last April for the first time, got to see the mission. Since I've been full-time with Express, I've been more involved in the hands-on stuff, keeping track of the shelters we build, the wells we dig, and stuff like that. So to be able to go to be able to go all as a family with Nelson was an absolute dream. Like, literally couldn't put words to it. My sister and husband and my nephew Porter was there, and it was just amazing seeing.
And how old is Porter?
He's 5 months. So literally
5 months old. Took him on this trip.
What a champ. Yes. Went into the prisons and everything. All of the officials and everything were interacting with him at the medical clinics. The doctors were interacting. It was just, he was the life of, he brought so much life there. So that was a huge gift.
That's cool.
Yeah. And for Corbin and Deborah as parents to just full send it with their child, I really respect that. So anyway, so there's probably 4 or 5 mission trips that happen a year. A lot of what happens on those are like medical clinics, where people come, you see several hundred people in a day, you're there helping out. That we visited a few prisons. One of them, there were 700-800 guys sitting out there, on the ground. So a bunch of stuff like that. You get to see water well projects that are getting done, shelters that have been built.
And that's something you do. You work on a lot here as wells that you guys put in. You do that from stateside with a lot of coordinating and organizing. Is that right?
Yeah.
So then to actually be over there and seeing that come to life and what that actually looks like is probably pretty cool.
It is. It's very surreal. You see pictures and videos, but then when you're out there, you get to meet the drill crew that we have over there. Was pretty awesome. So we were able to do that, and it was a huge, huge blessing. So probably the highlights, I think, for me of that trip were we played 2 soccer matches, and obviously we're a well-versed soccer team, a thrown together group.
Obviously,
from the
Derek's
US.
an athlete.
Well, yeah. What can I say? Some people call me Messi. It's whatever, or they don't. But
I was trying to say where we could send them to watch footage of Derek's athleticism. But I don't know if there's any out there for the public.
Not really.
Maybe we could get some behind the scenes.
There's lowlights, not highlights of that. I did. One of my moments, I'll get to this. So we played 2 soccer matches. One was after a medical clinic. So we were pretty tired, but we were full send. We ended up scoring. We ended up tying at the end. Was it 1-1?
Was it you guys against the inmates? Or did y'all
the first one was a medical clinic, so it was like
sorry,
no, you're good, you're good. So it was a local team that played there just at the medical clinic. So we played them. We played with our drivers, Sam and Zed, that are locals there, and then we had 2 other guys, Humphreys and one other guy joined us. They were really a lifesaver. Without them, I don't think we would have had anything close. But anyway, so we went into penalty kicks. We ended up losing, but a very tight match. We were able to bless them with some money for some soccer jerseys to help their football club, do all that jazz. So that was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
That was really cool. And then the other one was in prison, and that one was really neat. They gave us some uniforms, and those uniforms...
Prison uniforms?
No.
They just decided to keep you.
They wanted us all to blend in, and they're like, we might keep you. We'll see.
We don't discriminate here.
Exactly.
Everyone's the same.
If you want to be in prison, you can stay in prison. So, no, they gave us some actual
jerseys.
football jerseys.
Yeah.
We'll refer to it as football because that's what they call it over there, Jen. So, they gave us some of those. Those were rather small, and we had some rather large dudes. So there was some form-fitting outfits, to say the least. But we made it. We pressed on.
Is there footage of that somewhere?
There is, but that's private. That's private footage. No, it was amazing. We had even some of the pastors that were with us joined us. One of the nurses, Richard. Just one of the coolest things was the team element. You had guys from the U.S., from Uganda, and then even some locals that joined us for the other one. Just like bonding and realizing you're not there to win. You're there to play and do your best. But if you don't win, it doesn't matter. And we ended up tying in that one too. Crazy story. So I had a free kick. It was a handball, I think it was a handball. It was probably 30, 20.
A handball?
Yeah, like if you touch it with your hand, the ball is dead.
Yeah, because most people don't know. I'm just helping out for our guests that don't know what that means.
Yeah,
okay.
You're right. Thank you, Jen. Yeah. So that's a penalty. So the ball stops right there, and then you get a free kick to either kick it to your teammate or try to go
wherever the hand touched the ball, it stops right there.
Correct.
Okay.
Or if it's in the box, that's another whole thing, like the goal box. They call it the box.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that.
Then it's like a free kick. Yeah, anyway, there's a whole other thing.
Okay.
If you watch the World Cup, it'll make sense. Sorry, guys.
I'm probably the only one that doesn't know this. Everyone's let's move on with
this
the details.
This is good. I'm assuming everyone's a soccer extraordinaire. And
so you have this free kick.
I have this free kick, and I'm like, I'm just going to go for goal. I'm like, full send. Sure. And so I end up kicking this thing, and I was going for the top right corner.
How far away from you from the goal?
Chop Chizzy in the corner, but probably 30 yards, 25, 30 yards.
Okay, so is that pretty far?
Ish. Not real close, but it's far enough where it's like, it's kind of a bold move to go for goal. But I was like, top corner, let's send it.
Like, why not?
I kicked it, it's dead center. I'm like, well, that's fun. Great aim, Derek.
Wait, dead center to the net?
Well, towards the goalie, and I'm like, oh shoot, I kicked it over. It ends up going, this goalie's a little bit shorter.
Okay.
He ends up jumping, and it goes just between his hand and the bar. And I literally scored, Jen.
No.
I was like,
what?
Is this what like a world, is this like the top moment you can feel like in soccer? I was literally on cloud nine. Everyone was like,
probably
because it was late in the game too, and we were tied, so that put us ahead. So we're all like, we're champs, we're champions.
Wow, that is your moment.
It was my moment, and then literally we probably had 2 or 3 minutes left in the game, like not long. Then they ended up scoring again. So bit of a bummer.
Did you lose?
Well, yeah, because then we went to penalty kicks, and our goalie Sam was amazing. He saved a couple of them to keep us in it. We ended up losing, but it was still, I was on cloud nine.
But you won for that moment you had.
In that moment, I was the top of the world. I was
Way to go, Derek.
Thanks, Jen.
Way to just put your dominance out there.
Well, I was just like, it was such a cool moment because you're like, I need to go for goal here.
Yeah. Well, and you're doing it for your team, Your team's counting on you.
Correct.
It's the whole thing.
It was, the fact that I like helped my team get ahead in that moment with a pretty crazy kick. Like I probably could do that again in 30 tries if I tried.
When's the last time you played soccer?
It's been many moons.
Yeah.
Many moons. So
that's pretty cool.
Anyway, so
that was probably an amazing moment.
It was very surreal. And so just getting to see being able to serve. I think the most fulfilling thing is when you serve for something that's greater than yourself and you're doing it for others and serving the Lord ultimately. But like when you work hard for something like a mission or something, anybody that's been on a mission trip or done anything like this, that is the most fulfilling thing you can do. Like you're tired and you want to be tired. Just because you're giving your all. It's not about you, it's about them. So that is one of the most fulfilling things. So I would definitely give a big plug to an Africa trip. If God's leading you to do something, please reach out to us here at Gospel Express, and we will gladly put you on a list to go. Nelson is continually taking trips over there.
There's more upcoming trips this year, correct?
Correct. Okay. So definitely would shout that out. It's a great team element, and you really bond. So we were blessed to be over there with Chet Stolzfus' family and different people. Our secretary, Kayleen, was over there, different people. It was a huge, huge blessing. So that was Africa.
Well, the whole Africa trip, guys, summed up in that soccer game.
You're right.
But that's really cool. You got to do prison ministry, medical clinics, as well as just interacting with the locals and serving in that way. So
absolutely. So,
well, I'm really glad you guys got to go. And like you said, as a family is really cool. And then also, did you want to say anything about London or nah?
I'll just say that was such a gift to be able to do that on the way home. Got to stay at a hotel. Just, we got to see some sights. I feel like I'm a tour guide now. Like, if you need to hire me or just ask me to come along.
Can you speak with their accent? Just give me a little taste.
Oi! Oi! I didn't see. That's wrong, Jen. Don't ask me for accents.
No, okay. Well,
you're right.
Derek did not fit in as the local.
Hello, welcome to, I wanted to say Paris, but that's the wrong place. Oh, Jen.
I'm sorry for all that. Why did I ask that question?
You're right. Guys, anyway, I won't have an accent, but I will tell you where to go, and I'll get you there in pronto.
Yeah.
So, it was cool. We got the lay of the land. I think if you're going to go, try to take in a service at the Westminster Abbey. That was super cool. Very, traditional, but it was super cool to sit in a church where, the architecture is just, amazing. You just want to look around. You barely want to focus on the service, but I would recommend that.
Yeah. And, I saw some pictures, and it looked stunning.
Everything was stunning. I would say do that. Go, if you're going to go to the Buckingham Palace, go early. Make sure if you're going to go to the changing of the guard, there was thousands of people there. It was packed, but it was pretty neat. So that and the Tower of London is cool. Make sure you figure enough time for that. I would do that. Sorry, I'm going too far.
At least for our audience, since all of you guys are going to London now, you're set.
I know.
That's good.
Right. I'm trying to inspire people.
Always
to go to London.
over prepared.
You're right. But anyway, it was such a gift. I ate a lot of great food there. Super cool. What a blessing. Yeah. Huge blessing. Yep.
Awesome. Well, experiencing other cultures is really valuable. And I'd say echo what Derek said. If you get the opportunity or just find the time to take to get out of your comfort zone and go, whether it's going somewhere, whether it's literally going next door to your neighbor, getting yourself out of your comfort zone and serving others and those around you is valuable. So thanks for sharing that, Derek.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Jens McGee, you... Tell us about your last, couple months here. What you got any stories for us, or got any adventures that we should be a part of? Because you live a wild life, Jen.
Yeah, sometimes.
On the outside, you may look calm, cool, and collected, but Jen lives a wild life.
I just do a lot of unnecessary things that don't make a lot of sense, but it's really a lot of fun.
But it keeps life interesting.
Yeah. Whenever, for all of you single people out there, especially when you've been single for a while, like I'm 29, and so you just you realize you're the only one that's kind of affected by your habits. So it's you just kind of learn it's 9 a.m. I kind of want to eat roasted potatoes and carrots, so I guess I will. Or
I'm an adult.
It's 10 p.m. and I'm in my car and I don't really feel like going home to sleep, so I'll just sleep in here for a couple hours, and it's
that
fine.
I will never understand.
You just realize that sometimes
different.
Social norms are a little bit overrated.
Yeah, sure.
And so I'm still trying to learn is what's okay and not okay, but. Yeah, it is a fun time. It's a fun life. And sometimes you are coming home from somewhere and as soon as you get home, you're going to have to get out of your car, unload your car, go to your house, get all your, take a shower, do all this stuff. And it's man, if you just could sleep in your car just for a little bit.
Okay.
And not have to sleep right now and then get up later and then go do all that. That makes sense to me, and I feel more rested almost that way.
Do you feel like your quality of sleep though is decent?
Oh, it's amazing. It's 100%.
I mean, I'll take naps in my car, but I would process that as I'm going to go inside and maybe sleep for 20 minutes in my bed and then come back out and unload the car. That would be my thought if I have my great bed there. But Jen, you do.
Everyone's different.
Challenge
social norms, guys, though, but maybe in a more meaningful way to the world.
I agree with that.
I'm not really changing the world with those decisions, but anyway, but that's beside the point. But we did go. We came out of our Florida trip. A lot of us, Derek and I both had been in Sarasota over Christmas, and there's a lot of interesting things that happened there.
It's a whole vibe.
But there's just two little things that I'll share about that, and I'll try to keep it brief. One of them is just this is a funny story about to me and kind of embarrassing on my part. And the other one is actually something that's something that God really did for me while I was there. That was really meaningful. So the first thing I'll say is I have a love-hate relationship with cops. I feel like they're always stopping me for something, and I'm rarely ever
there's laws
doing
you should
anything
abide
wrong
by to avoid them or something.
Yeah. So this one night we were going to the beach. Both of these stories, I'll tell you what happened on New Year's Eve at the beach. Did I tell you these?
I think I heard the one, but please.
Which one?
I don't remember. The jumping over the fence or something.
Yeah. So there was the first night, the night that we were going to have a New Year's Eve party / it's a really cool thing that one of our friends puts on, that we all get together and have worship time and prayer time, and then bring in the New Year together on Siesta Key.
Oh yeah.
So I went to find parking for this, and first off, I parked at the regular beach parking, and I was all parked and ready to go, and then I saw a sign that said, "Oh, it closes at 10," like the parking lot. So I was like, "Is there a chance I'm going to get towed?" A slight chance, right?
There is, and that's
And so I was like, well, and I almost risked it. I was out of my car, ready to walk to the beach because I hate walking more than distance than I have to. And I was like, man, I'm right here. Just risk it. And then I was like, if I come back out here at 2 a.m. and my car's towed.
Yeah, well, it's gone.
And I could have prevented it, So I was like, you know what? It's fine. I will go try to find another spot to park down closer to the beach. Just find free parking somewhere. That's what I was looking for. So I made that decision and started driving. Couldn't find anything. And then finally I was like, okay, Jen, just go back to, there was a church parking lot that had been reserved for $5 a car that we could park at. It was just kind of far away from where the beach was. So I was like, just go there. So I finally did that. That was a whole story in itself. So I took all this time to try to find a good parking spot that was free, and ended up back where I should have started in the first place. So don't try to cut corners, people. It does not usually help.
Lesson learned.
Anyway, so I did that. So then I'm like, you know what? I am not walking the whole way. There's 2 ways to get to the beachfront. One of them is walking the whole way up to the parking lot where I just was, and then walking down the beach. So it's like you kind of backtrack before you can start heading the direction you want to go.
A little bit. Yeah, you're right.
Are you following this?
I am.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm going with you.
And then the other option is to walk down the street and then try to cut across through the parking lot or yard of a condo or a hotel that are down there. But to me, it was like, this makes the most sense. It's going to be a shorter distance. So let's do that.
Correct.
Because, I'm a good thinker and I have planned well. So I'm walking down, trying to find my way across, and a lot harder than I thought because everything was gated. Everything was fenced.
Yeah.
I was on the road. All I was trying to do was get across to the beachfront.
Yeah.
And couldn't find any way to get across. And so finally I see this parking lot that was empty, and it said it was beach parking, but it was closed at night. So I was like, you know what? I bet. And there was a fence in the back, but it was, it was just a suggestion because it's something you could push. The fence was one of those like mesh fences that you could kind of push down.
Yeah, yeah. Those are very open to.
Yeah, I'm like, if
open
it's
borders.
that easily crossable, I should probably cross it. So I walk back in this parking lot, kind of looking around, making sure, not because I was doing anything wrong or trespassing or anything like that, of course, but I was just checking my surroundings. Am I good?
Yeah,
So I get over to the fence. All I had to do, I could see it. The beachfront was there. I mean, it was within my grasp. I just had to step over this fence, run through this yard, and get to the beach.
Absolutely.
And I was already almost late because the event was starting. So I kid you not, I put my hands on that mesh fence to kind of push it down so I could step over, and almost like
simultaneously.
Clockwork.
At the same point?
At the same time.
Yeah.
A SUV cop car comes rolling in.
Ooh.
In the parking lot. And I heard a car before I saw who it was, and I just quickly turned around, and there it was. And I was like, are you kidding me?
You don't think God was speaking through that, Jen?
What is he doing here? Like, there's no way he knows I'm here.
Why would he be here at this fence?
And so I quickly let go of the fence and just casually acted like nothing was going on. But of course, I'm the only person in this dark parking lot with a lawn chair on my back.
Oh my!
And just standing there, like, who's casually hanging out here?
In a
Nobody.
Parking lot, right?
So I just acted like I was looking for something in the on the dirt, and then started walking away. And as I walked away, he rolled down his window because, of course, he's like, "What are you doing here?"
Right. Okay.
And so he said, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" And guys, this is where I have to confess that what I should have done was just said, "Hey, I'm trying to get to the beach, and I was honestly going to try to get across this fence and get over there." That's what I was doing, because that's what you should do. That's honesty,
right?
So this is me just being honest about my faults. But I just said the first thing that came to my head. I blanked and I was scared because I didn't know if he was going to arrest me.
He
and
was
I was
about
like,
to cuff you.
Yeah, he's like, "Can I help you with something?" He's like, "Oh no," I said,
"I'm
just looking for something that I dropped here earlier," and which was completely untrue. And he said, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And he said, Then he said, "Well, what was it? Just in case I find it later."
And
it's like,
Jen,
really catching me. And so I already was deep into this falsehood, and so I just said, "You know what?" I said, "It was a keychain that just has sentimental value."
It has so much sentimental value. I couldn't even tell you what it costs.
Yeah, I can't even tell you what it is because I've never seen it before. And at that point, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And it was like, "Okay, well, have a good night." And I just walked out the parking lot and went back to find a way in. And I felt so guilty, and I probably should call the sheriff's department and apologize. Yeah. I don't think it affected his life negatively, but it's probably more a thing I have
Unless he started a hunt for that keychain, he's still
he's still looking for the keychain for me.
Possible.
I don't know.
But
in any case, that whole story is to, first of all, don't trespass, and second, maybe don't lie to the cops.
Just be honest.
Yeah, just be honest.
Because there's a chance he would either known a place.
He probably would have escorted me to the beach.
See, that's what I was thinking too, Jen. Maybe God was maybe that was your chariot.
Let me help you get over there.
That was your chariot, Jen, and you lied. And God was like, psych.
Yep.
Wow.
So
appreciate your honesty about that.
But those things, sometimes I'm like, do these things just happen to me, or do they happen to a lot of people? Like, just stories like this where you can't plan for it. The fact that he was there and how all that happened. Anyway.
Yeah. Right.
But I did end up getting to the beach, and it was a really great. Really great time. So
after your long confession to the Lord, New Year's Eve,
yeah.
Thanks
Anyway, but
for your honesty.
Do you want to share a little bit about because the next thing I kind of want to share is actually something that is pretty cool and something more along a serious line that that I'll share. But then you also have something kind of along those lines. Do you want to share that?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be glad to. So I was recently at a men's conference in Missouri called Men's Encounter. 1,100 dudes there, just a gamut of backgrounds and diversity. There was more facial hair than I've ever seen in my life. Like there was beards it was wild. This was probably, honestly, you had probably 18, 19-year-olds and then probably 50 and 60-year-olds. And it was really, it was pretty amazing. One of the guys there had just gotten out of like a 25-year prison sentence and was there like because someone had invited him and he was looking like, and yeah. So just stuff like that. One dude was literally there, had an ankle monitor there. That was about to face like a 45-year sentence, and one of the testimonies like changed his life, and like so, just stuff like that. So don't get scared. It was completely safe and everything, but like there was just a wide gamut of
range.
Yes, a wide range.
I don't know what the word gamut means, but
I think it means
there's
like
a wide range. People
plethora. Which, do you know what plethora means, Jen?
Yep.
Many of them. Yep. I think. Don't look it up.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, so incredible time there. Would recommend it if you're looking for something, or if you want to invite somebody to something that is like maybe not saved or something. That would actually be a great place. Really, it would.
And what was it called?
Men's Encounter in Lebanon, Missouri. We can put a link to that in the description in case you're interested. So
if you're a man, all you women out there.
Well, there's Ashes to Beauty, Jen. Oh, if you're a woman, see, and even some of the girls at Door of Hope apparently have been there. So yeah, so it's like not Jen.
Not me.
Jen hasn't qualified yet.
I prefer the men's conference, to be honest.
Jen, you can't say that. Dadgummit, Jennifer.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is when you're 29 years old. I'm sorry, Jen. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. I'm 29 as well.
Moving on.
So we're both happily single, but we're always, we're seeing what God has.
Yep.
That's what it is. I'm totally kidding.
Anyway,
I know.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Taking a dig out and you're live on the air. Anyway, there was a video that was shown there by Tim Tebow. Some of you might be seeing it, and it was about significance. And in that, he was sharing about a guy that took a photo in Africa of this little girl that was trying to get to a food clinic, and she was so weak that she was like falling over on the ground, and there was this vulture that was literally perched right beside her, basically waiting for her to die. And he took a photo of this, and he ended up winning a Pulitzer Prize from this photo. It was back in 1993. And what he would do, so he obviously felt something for that little girl, so he would like shoo the vulture away, but the vulture would still come back. And then he was told, he could have like picked her up.
Yeah.
Could have taken her.
He didn't do anything. He
didn't.
Took a picture of her.
Correct. The thing, he was told that, there's disease in the area. Be careful about touching whatever. And so he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. And Tebow's point was like, apparently it wasn't worth it. Like he won a Pulitzer Prize. But for what? What does it matter? Because then what's really sad is about 4 months after he wins that Pulitzer Prize for that photo, the guy commits suicide. Really? And takes his life.
Wow. And
it's like, so this guy won one of the highest awards as you ever could as a photographer, but for what? Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter,
There wasn't really actual value in that.
There was no eternal value in that. And there's nothing wrong with winning a Pulitzer Prize, but and his point was significance. Like success is okay, but significance is what you should be living your life. And significance is for other people. It's not about what you do for you. It's not about what you accomplish. It's about what you do for others. That was his point. It was powerful. If you get a chance, go on YouTube and watch it. Yeah. It's Significance. If you put in Significance by Tim Tebow, it's pretty powerful. But yeah, that was his point, and it just touched me because I'd just been in Africa and I'd seen some of that firsthand. When people were just, it was because we do a lot of food parcel stuff over there and all that. But anyway, so it was like, guys, there's nothing wrong with success, but like, truly, what does it matter? Like, if it doesn't have eternal value, are we valuing it too much? Do we have those things before the things of significance? And it was just it impacted me greatly. So I was just, that'd be my encouragement to you. If you're doing things, there's nothing wrong with pursuing things here. We have dreams, we have goals, but like, make sure that like you're seeking God on, Lord, how do you want me to be significant in the kingdom? Like eternity. Like if it doesn't matter in eternity, take a look at it. What am I doing here? Yeah. So, because if you would have just picked up, how cool would it have been if you would have picked up that little girl, taken her to the food thing, still won that prize? How cool would that have been? But
dude, that's a good story. And even had he, let's say he didn't even take the photo. Let's say there was no photo, there was no prize, but he had made the choice to save her or to make a difference in her life. It's crazy how sometimes the things that you do for God that
no one even noticed. Yes, correct.
That I feel like the value and that would have happened in his heart and his life, and for that girl, the fulfillment of that would have been way higher than him winning that prize, which clearly, because it didn't, that winning that prize did not bring him happiness and fulfillment in the end.
No.
So that's neat and a good reminder.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a big impact. I just wanted to share that. So yeah, because it's so easy to get caught up in this world and the things we're doing, but it's like making sure we're serving God first, seeking His kingdom first and His righteousness, then all these other things will be added on. So simple to say, not as easy to do. So anyway,
a good reminder.
That's my, hopefully a little bit of inspiration there. So Jen, I think you got, do you got some goals, or what do you got for what was the thing that impacted you last year going into this year?
Well, with that and with what you said about your story there, that was, and I'm just about focusing on, how you can impact those around you. The same night at the beach in Florida over New Year's, there's a time where you're supposed to take to just pray. And so I decided just to take some time by myself, and some people paired off or whatever, but I decided just take some time by myself and just kind of seek God, and what do you want from me for this next year? And I was honestly feeling a little bit very introspective and kind of focusing a little bit on some of the hard things and struggles and things, in my life, and like, okay, God, like, I was excited for the next year, but also it's you can get in those spaces where you feel, where you're kind of focusing on you and what you need and what you want and what's hard for you. And your focus is like, it's hard to care about things around you when you're focusing on yourself. So that's kind of where I was at. And so I took my towel, and it's dark outside. It was cold, and I walked down a little bit from the group and sat down, and I was fully like not in the mood to talk to anybody else. I just wanted to be by myself, have this moment. And in my mind, I was like, no, I'm taking this moment to be with God. Like, this is a good thing.
Lord, I'm putting you first here.
Yeah,
focusing, of course.
That's what I'm thinking.
Which is not bad.
But yet, it was crazy how what happened next helped me realize that I was just honestly being a bit selfish with where my thoughts were and my intentions. But I'm sitting there, and I may be there for 5 or 10 minutes, and I had some music playing. I was really having a moment,
Yeah.
And then this gentleman walks up to me, and clearly ex-Amish, which nothing against that, but you could just tell like that he was out with intentions of having a party and a good time for that night.
Not necessarily Christian behavior.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he walks right up to me, and right away I can tell he'd been drinking. So he was fairly drunk, and just right up to me, right in my space, the last place I want anybody to be in that moment. And he's just like, "Hey, do you want to drink?" And I was like,
"Wow,
no, I don't." And let me tell you guys, when he first walked up to me, my initial thought was like, I want this guy to be away from me right now. Like, I didn't care about him. I didn't have a heart for him. I was like, I'm trying to have my time. He needs to leave.
Right.
That's my initial thought. It wasn't good, but I was just like, what is he doing here? And so I was like, okay, Jen, but be kind, right? So I said, no, I'm good, thank you. And he said, oh, come on. He's like, everybody I'm asking tonight saying they don't want to drink. And I'm like, I was like, well, if a stranger came up to you with a random Solo cup and said, do you want a drink of this? And you had no idea what it was, would you drink it? And he was like, oh, you got a point there.
I thought he was going to say absolutely.
So then rather than being like, okay, we'll have a good night, he kneels down in front of me, close, like right beside me.
Pulls out a ring.
And
shoot. Okay. I thought this was really going to take a turn.
No. And he opens up his backpack and he pulls out a huge bottle of alcohol.
Oh.
Because he was like, he's like, if I make it for you right in front of you, will you drink it? Basically trying to get me warmed up to have this drink.
Exactly.
And at this point, I'm just like, okay, this is really not where I wanted this evening to go. But there was a little bit of something inside me that said, okay, what does God want me to do right now in this moment?
Obviously, he dropped this guy why
is he here? Is there a reason? So there was a little bit of that, but I was still hoping he would leave.
Yeah.
So I told him, no, I said, I don't want to drink tonight. And then he said, oh, okay. And then he just kind of sat there for a little bit. And then he asked me, he's like, sorry, am I messing up your night? And I said, you know what? I said, it's fine. I'm just trying to take a little bit of time before the new year and have some time with the Lord. And then he didn't say anything for just a little bit. And then I don't know what prompted me to say it, but I just said, how's your relationship with the Lord?
Nice, Jen.
And right away, his face completely changed and shifted from just like being all excitable and like trying to get me to have a drink and all animated, to just really thoughtful and just, you could tell it just took him to a place where he hadn't been planning to go. And he kind of looked out at the ocean and then he turned back and looked at me and he said, it's not good. He said, I am completely messed up inside and I do not have a relationship with God. And so that ended up opening up just an opportunity to share some things with him, ask him some questions just about his life. And he ended up sharing and was very honest. And it almost seemed like he was obviously still somewhat drunk from his drinking, but he was all of a sudden very coherent, was able to share some thoughts. And I was able to speak into his life a little bit and hopefully encourage him. And it was really, really good. And then the crazy part that at the end had me in tears was he just, after we talked for a while, he said, you know what? He said, well, he's like, I don't believe that anything is by accident. Okay. And I'm really glad that I met you tonight and that I feel like it was for a reason. And he said, oh. And then he started speaking to me and before he had ever walked up to me when I was in these moments of, kind of focusing on myself, I'd been asking God for some guidance and direction and even specifically praying for a word. And I felt like God gave me that word. And at the end of the conversation with this guy, he said, Jen, he's like, I believe that there is something more that God has for you. He's like, you have something inside of you that is special. Don't lose it. And there's more. Wow. And this came coming from this ex-Amish partier guy who, when he first walked up to me, just wanted me to drink alcohol with him. Yeah. And then we ended up being able to have a conversation. And in the end, he ended up speaking into me in a way that I really, really was needing and seeking God for. And after he walked away, and then he's like, can I give you a hug? And I was like, okay, I guess. Yeah. So me and this random ex-Amish man hugging on the beach at midnight. And then he walked away. And honestly, guys, like I sat there just completely in awe of God because he took what I viewed initially as a situation that was inconvenient for me, super frustrating because I didn't want to talk with this guy. I was like, what is he doing here? Wow. And he took that situation and turned it actually into, I believe God spoke directly to me through this guy. Mm-hmm. And I 100% believe it was a word straight from the Lord. And had I not entertained this guy and given him a little bit of time and looked away from myself for a little bit, I would have missed that opportunity to not only share with him and pour out, which is what I wasn't. I was kind of selfishly not wanting to do. But what happened was I ended up, I feel, being even more blessed by that than even he was. And who knows, hopefully like some things that God spoke through me to him could impact him as well. Oh, 100%. But that whole experience it taught me, first of all, like it is not about us. We are not here on this earth for us. We are here to serve God, to honor him, and to serve others. And it is so incredibly rewarding when you do that because the things that you experience in return end up being so much better and more valuable than if you're seeking out things for yourself on your own. So that's just a reminder to me of how important it is to keep our focus where it needs to be and care more about what God wants and what the people around us need than just about what we need for ourselves. Take the focus off of ourselves. So that was one of the most incredible experiences so far of 2023. Wow, actually, that was still in 2022, but it was right on the cusp.
It was on the cusp.
So just a shout out to God amazing. Just for the way that he works. So
that was really cool. Story, Jen.
Yeah, it was
that's really awesome.
And then what you mentioned too about the goals, I'll just say this real quick, and then that's I'll wrap it up. But something else I actually heard on a different podcast. It's that JD guy, or JP, sorry.
Jonathan included, JD. I was like, JD. Becoming Something.
It's his podcast, yeah.
Becoming Something.
I had listened to a couple of his episodes, and I don't know if it's been every year, how long he's done it, but something he does is give up something for a year. Okay. Usually, I don't know how long he's done it, but last year he did something, and this year he's, I think, giving up sugar or something. Wow. He picks something that I don't know how he chooses it, but it's just something that maybe is a little bit difficult to sacrifice. Sure. But his purpose is first of all learning how to sacrifice something, but doing it as kind of a fast to the Lord. Says, hey, this year I'm choosing to not not do this, not have this, give this up. And then in those moments where I think about those things or I want something that I can't have,
Craving.
I take those moments to reflect and to pray or to whatever that may be, to say, hey,
that
God,
attention to God.
Yeah.
Wow.
As a reminder throughout the year.
Awesome.
And I was talking with some friends about that, and I was like, there's so few things that we have to sacrifice as a Christian living in America in this day and age. So few things that we have to give up for God.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, how valuable that could be is just to for my life. I'm considering doing something like that too, where it's just taking that time to say, okay, I want to intentionally not do this or have this for this year, and take that time to focus in more on my relationship with God and what does He have for me. And so that was a challenge that I heard from this JP.
Yep.
That I would encourage for you guys, even just not, maybe that's not how it looks for you, is like giving up something for a year, but just really thinking, okay, what am I even sacrificing for God, or what am I willing to sacrifice? Because there's not a lot asked of us.
Right.
Being a Christian is pretty easy if we don't take steps, to get out of our comfort zones and stuff like that for God. So I want to do focus on that for this year is, what is God asking me to sacrifice that I could maybe become deeper in my relationship with Him?
Yeah. Cool.
So for whatever that's worth for you guys, I'm excited about this year and excited to see what all God wants to do. And it might be hard and it might be stretching and uncomfortable, but I have no doubt that that's what we're here for, and it's worth it.
Jenn, that's amazing. Wow.
I'm long-winded.
No. That was great. That was appropriate details, and what a powerful story. Thanks for sharing that. Did you have a thing for this year? Did you have it? And if you don't want to share it, it's fine. I'm just asking on the spot.
I have a couple things that are and there's
ideas.
Tons of things that would hurt for me to give up.
Yeah.
Most of them involving food.
Correct. I think a lot of us, it's food.
But I haven't. I'm more of, some people would be like, oh, just pick something and give it up. I'm more of, I only want to do it if it's something I feel that God, that it's like,
right.
I'm in the process right now of asking God, what is something that would be beneficial that He would say, hey, this would be tough, but I feel like it could benefit you a lot. And so I have a couple things in my head, but I don't have a for sure thing that I've set on yet.
Just checking if you want to put that out there and have people keep you accountable. That's great.
Nope.
That's good.
If I don't say anything yet, no one knows.
Nobody
so no
knows,
one can say anything.
So no one can
but no,
accountable.
Accountability is huge. Is huge too. If you do want to do something like that, where you're giving up something or you're doing something, maybe it's you want to work out or you want to, get in shape, which is one of my goals.
I mean, you're working out 4 times a week right now, Jenn. I'll give you a shout out.
Yeah,
for
this
that.
is the first week doing that.
Well, still, I'll give you a shout out.
We're really on a roll.
Starting it.
But if you have people that you can share that with and can check in and say, how are you doing with this? Like, you're a lot less apt to fall back and just be like,
make
it's hard.
Excuses. It's so easy to make excuses. Good
for
gracious.
sure. So anyway, if you guys have, if anybody ever wants to share things that they've done like this, or we love hearing feedback from you guys on even some of your goals for this year and what you would want. So
awesome.
Okay.
Jenn.
Well, Derek,
I have one more thing to piggyback. It just came to my mind with what you were saying about focusing outward on others. I just saw this other thing from Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is just a man. He's a legend.
Hey, Tim Tebow, can we have you on?
Tim Tebow, you're one of the dream
Sponsor
guests.
us so we can fly in Tim Tebow for an episode.
Honestly, guys, if we get
enough sponsors.
But the thing is, he's very high demand. But we could at least shout him out.
So
say,
are
hey,
we.
You're right. Well, we hope. We don't know.
No, that would be cool though. Someone like that would be incredible.
A dream guest for sure. So, yes. But anyway, it was a video I saw of him, and he said him and a friend would, anytime they would have a setback or something would not go well, they would have a tough time in life, they would find somewhere to go serve. They would literally be like, hey, you know what? This is a tough time. Obviously, it's a letdown or something. Where can we go to serve to get the focus, not just on us, not just our circumstances? And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, how cool would it be if anytime we would go through something or we were like having a hard time with something, if we'd go serve? And I almost feel like when you sow, you reap what you sow. So like in those moments when you go to give, God ends up giving back to you. So, and you experienced that, Jenn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in ways you didn't think. So I'm like, that is something I think we should take a pretty serious look at. If you're going through something tough in life, whether it's a season, whether it's temporary, if you could find a place to go serve somewhere, seek God on it. Like, God, bring me an opportunity to serve, and I'll do it. And it's literally like you can like kind of when people say pull yourself up by your bootstraps or something. I don't really know exactly what that is, but that's kind of what I picture. Yeah, exactly. It's more spiritual. It's deeper than that, but it's almost like you can intentionally like pull yourself out of something just by being obedient and going and serve somewhere and getting the focus off yourself. So anyway, just thought I'd mention that for what it's worth.
I love that. So. And guys, we're not diminishing the fact there are times when you're going through things and it is fine to care for those needs.
Get alone with God.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Like some people will, try to do things or ignore what's going on because it's hard to deal with. So we're not definitely not making excuses for that. Yeah. But there are so many things that changing your focus.
Yes.
And like what Derek said, like finding somewhere to give back and serve to where it's not just about you. A lot of times that can not maybe take away what you're going through, but it can diminish the level of intenseness that you feel maybe from it or help you bring it into perspective. So obviously deal with the things you're going through and take care of those things, but also keep focus where it needs to be. And it's crazy how much smaller our mountains seem to be that we feel like we're climbing. So
Correct.
Yeah, that's a great point, Derek.
Yep. Well said.
All right. Anything amusing that you want to add yet?
I have a joke. I got a joke.
Because we're not going to do our normal segments for you guys that listen regularly. Obviously, we generally do pickup lines and hot takes and rapid fires, and obviously this is a little different, so we're not doing that.
We're saving those for the next episode.
We save them for the guests.
Oh, for sure.
But Derek does have a little something for us.
Joke for you, Jen.
Yeah. So who shops at Walmart?
Wow,
everybody.
I mean, I go in spurts. Like I'll go there.
I low-key love Walmart.
It's low-key nice, but
all my clothes are from Walmart.
I know. Literally the clothes section, it's kind of nice because they're kind of cheap and they're usually fairly decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So shout out to Walmart. But
so what you got for the Walmart?
This is a diss on Walmart, but maybe we'll see. I want to know what you think then. So this is from the Stoltzfus family, the Mel Stoltzfus family that was with the ministry. They were all about the jokes. They had some great jokes. So this is from them. I'm not exactly sure which one of them said it, but Jen, what do birds say when they fly over Walmart?
Is it a bad word?
No.
Oh.
Cheap.
Oh, Derek.
Do you like that one, Jen?
No. I did not like that. Shout out to the Mel Stoltzfus family. We love that.
I was really good. What do birds say when they fly over Walmart?
Cheap. I mean, all right.
It's a joke. It's a joke. So,
and it's accurate.
Exactly.
But
yet cheap.
That's why I love Walmart for.
So it's actually a compliment.
Yeah.
Birds are complimenting Walmart. Yeah. Good gracious. So anyway, that's my Walmart joke, Jen.
Wow. We do love that humor.
That's right. Anyway, so yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, Derek, anything else that you want to share while you have the platform?
Well, I think the only other thing that I was thinking about was if there are certain topics or things that you guys as listeners, this is like, we're obviously having a ball, but it's like, obviously if nobody wants to listen, we want it to be something that you guys find value in. So if there's like a topic or something you want us to dive into, we would love that feedback. Or if there's like a certain person that you've heard that would be like, oh, hey, on this subject, his insight is amazing. I mean, hey, we're open to that. Like, we can't guarantee anything, but we'd love suggestions.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's what I would say. Like, message us on Instagram or on our personal Instagrams or Facebooks or something. Just reach out to us with topics, suggestions, and that's kind of what I would have, Jen. What are your thoughts?
For sure. No, just, exactly what you said is this year, obviously, our vision and goal is not changing. We do care very much about people's lives, interviewing them. That was, we want to hear people's stories, give them platforms, and you often learn a lot from them. But we are also like very open and kind of wanting to do some different things too throughout the year. We have some plans in mind for some different episodes that we want to do.
Right.
Just switching it up. And so, what Derek said, if instead of maybe just interviewing someone about a whole variety of things, like maybe we pick a topic that you're interested in and really dive deep into that with someone who really understands it or has lived it or whatever. So if that's something you guys would like, or like Derek said too, if you have a person that you're like, this would be he would have a lot to share on this.
Sure.
We would love that because
absolutely.
We want this.
We don't know everybody. We
don't.
No.
You do.
And I know.
We know everyone.
Yeah.
We want this to be a space where it's encouraging, fun, but also something that lifts you up and can be something you relate to. So, very open, guys, to suggestions or even segments that you have.
Yeah.
Because we've had some of our segments we've been doing, which we'll probably continue doing some of them, maybe switching things up. So if there's like a fun segment you guys have an idea for,
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it. And
That's
like
right.
you can message us on Instagram and also at our personal Facebook pages.
Yeah, you're right. And if you're part of the Patreon page, we might hold your suggestions a little higher. I'm totally kidding. JK. No. But like
Derek's
literally
already playing favorites.
I am. That's terrible, guys.
Yeah.
We don't play favorites.
We love all of you guys.
We do. Literally any suggestion we get, we will highly consider. We really appreciate it. Just y'all's feedback is amazing. Really.
Yeah. So thank you all again. It really has blown my mind even so far. It's been 7 months that we've done this, and the amount of people that have been so encouraging in supporting this podcast and just saying that they listen and they enjoy it, or even giving feedback, whatever it may be. It's really cool because it has been a dream of mine for a long time to have a podcast. So just to see the way that people have supported it so far is amazing. So feels like a family in a way, and we both of us really appreciate all of you and love hearing feedback and love hearing from you. So thank you all so much. And we're excited to continue on with episodes, with new guests and new content moving forward. So cheers to 2023.
Cheers
I think
to 2023.
That's all I have to.
Yeah. 1 month down, 11 more to go. Yeah.
Okay, well,
awesome.
Are we ready to round out our episode with Follow My Lead?
Oh, Jen, are we really doing this? That should be for guests.
This is the interview podcast. I've been Jen.
Oh, I've been Derek.
Have a great week, you guys.
See you guys.